For today's Amanita series, we will be discussing a member of section Armadillo that we have here in the Northeast. I've been calling it Amanita peckiana. Let's see if we can get a little focus on this. There we go. So, with section Armadillo, we have these very scruffy, furry, shaggy, shingly members. Some things to note on this one in particular is the appendiculate margin that it has. Very scruffy, very furry. We also have this discoloration mildly on the vellum that's left on the cap, which turns into shingles. And we'll also note right on the back side where something rubbed up here is the pellicle underneath, the actual cap, which has a citrine kind of appearance, a little bit off-white with a tint of green or yellowish. Moving down, this member is typically exanelate. Well, we do have a bit of a shag, so it's a little in the shadow of the cap right now, so we'll get a closer look when we look at it. But classic white mushroom with a shag and appendiculate margin for Amanita peckiana and other Armadillo. So with all Amanita, we do want to dig up the base to look and see exactly what we're dealing with. So just a note with section Armadillo. These are being worked on right now. We're trying to confirm some names with DNA on things going on. This one is distinct from our common pseudo-volvota that we have here in Rhode Island. One thing, it's a little larger, in my opinion, and it has a little bit of a more robust bulb and vulva at the base. So now that we have this out of the light, we can look at this shag on the cap. Let's see if we can. Oop, little baby Mycena there. I bet she's a bleach smelling one. We'll get into that some other time though. So we have this shag on the stem, and a lot of times with Armadillo what we want to do is rub it. Now this has a mild orange discoloration we can see, but it really fades. It doesn't have too much of a stain on the touch underneath this flocculent material. So that's almost a false positive, this little tite of orange discoloration. As it's gone now, it was apparent instantly, which could be just the vellum, this flocculent material, and not the stem itself. And as all Amanita, we want to look at the design of the short gills. Something characteristic to Armadillo is it has this kind of Velcro material left on the edges of the gills. Almost looks like a serrate margin on it. This is where the gills were connected to the stem, and it kind of ripped off and pulled some of the material off. And we can see some of the short gills here are truncate, and we can really see the apparent appendiculate margin on this, which is, to me, what I've been calling peckiana is pretty common. And the vellum on the top doesn't flatten and stretch out as the pseudo-volvota, which is our common Armadillo. So I've been seeing a lot of these this year. Maybe it's a good year for them. Maybe they only fruit every few years, I'm not sure, but classic Armadillo grows from a big vulva, shaggy furry stem, material on the cap that turns red as it ages, and yeah, it's white. So that's it for today's Amanita series with Amanita peckiana. I hope you enjoyed.